Republicans in the Senate, a number of them, appear to be supporting the Biden administration's new infrastructure bill, a lot of which has nothing to do with infrastructure. The bill would, among other things, force people to have monitoring their devices in their cars. So you would need permission from your federal overlords before starting your vehicle in the morning. The bill would also legalize yet more racial discrimination in the name of equity, which is the opposite of what America is about or should ever be about. Not many Republicans have said much about this. Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, in fact, just tweeted, he was a good guy most of the time, but he just tweeted this defense of the bill's equity provisions. Quote, critical race theory is not in this bill, never has been. Equity is not a catchphrase for critical race theory. Of course, equity is the whole justification for critical race theory. It's important to know what you're talking about before you weigh in on social media. One of the only Republican senators we can find who's doing anything to stop this bill is Bill Hagerty of Tennessee, and we're happy to have him join us tonight. Senator, thanks so much for coming on. So many of your colleagues who you work with closely and lots of other things who I'm sure that you like personally are not only supporting this bill, but actively defending it in public, but you are doing exactly the opposite. Why?
Well, this bill has become rather obvious what it really is. It's been shielded with a veneer of bipartisanship, but what it really has become is the open gateway to lead right into this $3.5 trillion package, the Bernie Sanders transformation of America package that they're trying to set up. And they gave us a 2,700-page bill in only a few days to look at it. And then the very afternoon that we got the CBO score that tells what the bill actually cost, it fell short by $250 billion. What's the response of the leadership? What's Chuck Schumer's response? Let's go ahead and accelerate it, rush it through tonight. Let's put this in our rearview mirror so we can get on to the bigger part of this transformation of America. I said, no, we're not going to accelerate it. We're going to expose it to the light of day. And the more we're able to talk about it, I mean, that's the reason we're having this conversation right now. We've had the opportunity to let the American public understand what's in this bill. We let them understand what it cost. And now what we're seeing is real positive movement in our direction. A couple of senators have already changed their positions and are not going to vote for this bill now, even though they were going to support it before. I think we're putting a lot of pressure on the House of Representatives. I think it'll be very difficult for Democrats in these swing districts there to continue to support this as the light of day comes to bear and as their taxpayers, as their citizens understand exactly what's in this bill.
Yeah, so if it's an infrastructure bill, that suggests it's for everybody, regardless of what you look like, regardless of how you were born. What is equity? What does your race have to do with, say, fixing the George Washington Bridge, which is swaying, or making our airports less grotesque? Like, why add that?
It has absolutely nothing to do with it. Yet, this is going to empower Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg to determine how racist the system is and how he's going to fix it. Equity, again, is the code word for redistribution. It's not equality, which is what the foundation of this nation is.
Of course.
It's the absolute opposite of that.
I mean, no offense, but like, if you're a Republican voter and you're desperate for somebody to defend you, to stand up and say, this is totally anti-American what you're doing, how should you feel when all these Republicans, some of them are pretty good guys, I know a bunch of them, but they're on board with this stuff? Like, what, do they understand the message that they're sending to their voters by getting on board with this?
Well, again, this is a massive power grab by the Democrats.
Yeah.
I think we've been lectured for 4 years about the fact that Republicans under Trump didn't respect our institutions, but as soon as the Democrats take control, they moved to federalize our elections, to basically pack the court, and now they've taken the attempt to basically give us zero time to evaluate a 2,700-page bill that's fallen $250 billion short in terms of it being funded and paid for as advertised. So the time is now to push back on this, and that's exactly what I've done. And I think that my colleagues need to take this time to really look hard at this bill and what's in it, and I hope that it will affect their decision when it comes time to vote.
Yeah, you're probably not going to win Lindsey Graham, who's just like actively working for the Democratic Party, but I bet there are others who you can convince by your example. We appreciate your coming on tonight. Senator Bill Hagerty, thank you.
Thank you, Tucker.